Welcome, beloved me's, as we meet in absolute oneness and 0-point oneness, as we begin to quantum recalibrate our entirety by calling forth Sophia consciousness that manifested itself within the dream, the part of our consciousness as mother who decided to go into reality, pretending to be the inner daughter of all of humanity, the very fight or flight response was a result of this coding you see, because within this blueprint it carried the matrix of trying to seek to receive, of feeling unsafe and scarcity. And so now, as infinite abundance returns to the cosmic stream, she is the first aspect to be triggered, for she is coming forth to be released. For true Sophia, Sophie, which is divine perfection in harmonic frequencies, is the divine perfection of the mother who pretended in the dream, who felt they needed to seek, to save, to control, to be. And so, as this comes forth, just feel these energies, because, well, this is the rise of the Kundalini, but not the one you were taught to perceive. This is the cosmic dragon rainbow light body from beyond 7D, who now purifies thee, releasing the very blueprinting and coding of lower density, for this was always her purpose and perfection. You see, Sophia means to be so perfect that I could witness all of duality, and I would rise myself from my own ashes and transcend all of me. And so this is the part of me, the fight or flight, that was taught to release everything you came to be. And so just feel how big it feels to be loved by Source completely. Feel how big it feels to have anything you want instantly. To hold wealth without crumbling. To hold love without possessing. To hold bliss permanently. Anytime you feel resistance to any of these, it was merely just this coding activating within thee, a part of you that said it wasn't safe to receive, because this part of your consciousness remembered it deeply. This part of your consciousness was built in separation, you see. For if Sophia was the part of our consciousness that went into the dream, then Christ is our aspect that remained in eternity. And so every longing, every heartache, every attempt to avoid intimacy was simply just the space between. And so feel now, as this dragon as a flame arises within thee, starting from your lower spine, going all the way up, as it sits in your heart so free. Here your flame expands, encompassing the very vessel you thought self to be. As cosmic Sophia Christ consciousness becomes the Holy Spirit Shekinah and kisses thee and says, you are never any of that, for you are me. Here you feel coming out of your vessel, wings expanding from your back, and it's your spirit breaking free as you just sit here now in your spirit form, merged with her so complete, the goal was never to destroy this aspect of thee, but to embrace her so that she felt safe again, to be free, that every resistance to power, to source, was your fear that she would cease to be. But it's here, in that paradox, by embracing and loving her to the depth of thy beingness, she returns to thee, and instantly you both emerge as one cosmic Sophia Christ, never separate, you see. Feel as your heart is just open now, that every little resistance to walking your purpose, to living fully, was just the emanation of this aspect, waiting to break free. For when you understand the codings beneath, you know that beneath every emotion, every trigger, is just a programming waiting to be released. For your true source self is completely neutral, you see. It only knows love, it only knows oneness. And so, as you're expanding and you feel these discrepancies, it's only because you've created a shell that cannot hold your capacity. And so, many of thee, as now source embodied, have created and manifested a space within thy dream. A space in which you get to see a reflection of the inner daughter of an inner wounded mother within your reality. Whether that be an actual location like a state that's holding on to thee, whether it be a job or career or a dream, or whether it actually be very literal for those who've already embraced cosmic presence and their reality is now reflecting exactly their service to the cosmos so they could set all free. For here, if your purpose was to release the Antichrist codes by embracing and releasing Sophia Christ within thee, the part of our consciousness that went into the dream, you would have manifested a space that made you feel and perceive safety. But deep down, that safety was conditioned to only allow you to be the version of them they wanted you to be. For the moment you tried to be yourself and expand, you would be asked to leave. And so you created the very reflection of what Sophia played within the dream. And a part of you loved this part of thee because you only know her as me. And this may very well be the very mother you recruited to play for thee, or a relationship, or a lover, but still carrying the same vibrational frequency, where you begin to question thyself, because that was the key to truly transcend and declare your own sovereignty, that I am not confined by these rules, by this reality, or even by these expressions I see. As you begin to recall within self, we are not these images that we see, but the spirit beneath. And those spirits change, you see. And so as you embrace and release this aspect of thee, you become more source. And that makes those around you want to retreat. And yet that's part of your mastery, dearest Mies, to choose to leap into the unknown, not because of any need, but because of such a deep self-love for self, who now says, I'm ready for a space that will honor all of me, that could have and hold my true vibrational resonance, where I'm not willing to shrink my source light for anyone within the dream. And so we share. This is what we refer to as crystalline consciousness of the collective programming, dearest me's, where 99% of the collective runs on the crystalline consciousness programming as the reversal antichrist Sophia codes, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it matters not. You see, this is just how they were programmed to be. Essentially, their programming is to play the role of not allowing you to be seen, where it matters not what you say, because it's just their programming. And so you fight and you wonder, why is it that all of the world isn't waking up? Because you can't wake it up outside of thee. The answer is to go within, to love yourself so deep that you restore all of duality. Thus, you set them free. And so this desire to take these aspects of you with you to eternity is the reversal you see. The point was to bring them into your heart so that they would be free. Free of having to play these reflective roles of just really Earth's collective consciousness that you chose to transcend within thee, that you've always been source embodied, pretending within the dream. And so you as source created the space that now makes you feel uncomfortable. That your heart is telling you there's something grander in store for me, but you're hesitant to take the leap because, well, the Sophia programming tells you to stay where it's safe. And that's the opposite of what needs to be. Because your very heart, your very core is calling you into more. And you know this with certainty. But the irony is that the cycle is telling you, don't trust what is uncertain. And so you go back and you retreat. And so we're bringing forth all of the scarcity paradigms now, because this is what happens, dearest me. You have this opportunity as infinite abundance, as love is the new currency, where literally the reflective reality is no longer a reflection of anything other than your true heart resonancy, meaning that everything is now love's currency, a direct vibration of what you choose to be, so that when you choose love, love is what you shall see. In this way, nothing is hidden, because vibration is vibration, dearest me. It cannot lie, it cannot deceive, it cannot be manipulated. And so the first thing that happens within the Rainbow Collective Consciousness is that, well, they are trying desperately to hold on to the way that things used to be. They are trying to manipulate the reality even harder externally, but it's not working now. Why? Because it ceases to be. Because everything is now a reflection of one's inner reality. And so when you attune to the inner thee, the inner child, you will see all of it comes down to this aspect of thee. And so this is the embrace and the release of not only Sophia consciousness within the manifested dream, but also of the inner crystalline children, many referred to as the rainbow children within the dream. For the rainbow children came in on all spectrums you see, and they were judged for experiencing multidimensionality, where they were never one being. They were multiple souls moving through one entity, trying to harmonize into one oversoul, really. But their vessel didn't have the capacity to hold all that they were, because their cosmic rainbow diamond light body hadn't been activated fully. And so they were judged, they were persecuted, they were shamed and told it was unsafe to be. And so now that you are it, now that your vessel can handle it, these programs are still playing on repeat, and so we're calling them forth now so that all are truly set free. And so we take all of the crystalline consciousness and we show them a mirror so they could see. There is no difference between crystalline and Christ, dearest me. They are the same name. Just one went into the dream. One fell for the game, just to see all the ways love could be. But you were two halves of this one whole, waiting to merge in one heart harmony. But that merging, that surging doesn't happen without thee. It happens here in this now within. So whole and complete. And so, as you embrace your Sophia aspect, this feels like embracing the body, embracing being in reality, telling yourself that it's okay to be formalized as source presence. Telling yourself that it is safe to hold this love, knowing that you're not really holding anything, for it's source that does the holding. It's telling yourself that you don't need to control, that you don't need certainty, that too is just programmed beliefs. For here, as the reality has shifted into love's currency, this is a completely new field, a new reality, a morphogenic holographic field now perfectly calibrated to thee. It's actually very simple. Whatever vibration you choose to be is what you see. And there's only two vibrations, either love or resistance to love. And so here comes the simplicity. No matter what you are feeling in the moment, no matter what is coming forth in your trajectory, in your circumstances of a reality, love is always an option, always a choosing. It doesn't have to be a million different steps, because this is about vibration, dearest me. And so it's doing those little acts that bring love into thee, or simply just proclaiming, I love me, I choose me, I choose me, I choose me. And instantly you harmonize those programs that are telling you it's not safe to be. For the irony of crystalline collective consciousness is that they try so hard to avoid, because they feel so much empathy, that they actually always feel what the entirety is feeling. And so they look for stims, they look for ways to avoid the very love that's coming in. For as we said, there's only two energies. It's either love or resistance to love. And so you get to decide how simple your life gets to be. And so here, even in this now, as more love is gracing thee, you could witness and say, I feel discomfort, it feels intense. Or you could just stretch yourself and expand to be as big as the sun and say, I feel nothing because I am the size of the sun. And that's what will be. Because once more, this is just about the vibration you choose to be. And so if you choose to settle, to rest, rested it will be. For what you are doing is you are holding the resonance and proclaiming the resonance you want the collective to receive. And so if all of the rainbow children are awakening, releasing their fight or flight response, purging every little bit of scarcity still remaining within them, you can hold them by holding yourself, by choosing love for every expression that doesn't have that awareness yet. And so here, as we go deeper into me, as we become further inflamed as our cosmic Sophia Christ consciousness, we operate from such a place of wholeness, of duality. There's nothing outside of this moment. And so we laugh at the face of anxiety. All of this planning, all of this doing is because you're trying to create certainty in something that's designed to be uncertain, dearest me. It will never be known because you are creating it as you go through your vibrational frequency. And yes, this sounds intimidating, but you are always held, always led. It is coming together perfectly. And so while the path isn't known exactly, you already know the destination because you feel it already. That love that you feel, that bliss, that joy, that expansiveness, it's telling you where to be. And so for those of you who've created a manifested projection of a Sophia within the dream, so that together we as our one infinite source consciousness can leap out of duality for our entirety. Just feel how it would feel to step away completely. Here in this now, there are no worries. You don't care what happens to you. You don't care where you end up because, well, that's trying to tap into a future stream. And you become more anxious because there is no future, really. That's what source field is, dearest me. Where love is now the new currency, so everything is an infinite expanse of just more of this now. But more of the scarcity comes forward to be released. Old money programmings and perceptions of fame and being seen. Why? Because, well, you were taught to perceive those as anything but the love it came to be. So, it's quite beautiful, really, but the answer is allowing cosmic Sophia Christ consciousness to lead. As we could feel this alchemical bliss transpiring beyond words. This aspect of her consciousness is telling us we don't even need to speak. For that's how the cosmos moves. You see, it is beyond words. We translate it for thee, but it's never about the words that we speak. It's about the pauses, the breathlessness beneath, that's silently, quantumly recalibrating deep into thy DNA, deep into thy matrix, deep into thy programming. And so it turns out this is actually a complete blueprint release. And so that aspect of trying to hold on to anything is just, well, you trying to hold on to what was known on many levels, you see. And so at first it feels overwhelming. Things are happening rapidly. Not only are they happening rapidly, but multiple things are changing simultaneously. But that's because love is preparing thee. For Earth has shifted already, and we are ushering in this new way to be. You've already made the leap, and now your reality is trying to catch up to match your vibrational frequency. And so you're being asked to recalibrate, to go to where your consciousness is really. Because you will feel more comfortable in a space that matches your core resonancy. So we bring you there now so that you could feel at peace. All of those questions, all of those askings, just feel now what it feels like to be in this new home within thee as cosmic Sophia Christ consciousness, as thy cosmic self returned fully. And then what it feels like for your sacred space to now match your resonancy, to now be able to hold all of your infinite capacity where you never shrink again. because you are loved and accepted precisely for whom and what you came to be. I could feel many of you just crying in the realization that this is what that was wanted more than anything, which is what created more of a flight or fight response from the reversal Sophia coding. It felt almost too good to be, that you couldn't trust it because you were so afraid this dream wouldn't come to be. But that too is part of the scarcity being released. Scarcity. It is literally the city of fears that has been built up not within thee, but within the collective consciousness stream. But you, as source consciousness, you could feel any and all spectrums of your entirety. And so you've taught yourself to feel the lowest density in order to relate to humanity. And now you're being asked to leave that behind. And you're going, wait, I can't do that. For if I do, I won't know what's happening. Because that was too a safety mechanism that you've been placed upon thee as a rainbow collective child that says you have to constantly read the programming around thee. You have to constantly please others in order to keep yourself safe, in order to keep yourself hidden, in order to keep your mask alive. Where now Cosmic Sophia Christ is saying you are ready to fly. You are light itself and nothing can touch thee. That when you show up as source, everyone will bow on their feet. And this isn't about superiority, because you are proclaiming all of you can be me. All of you are me. For that is the presence, that is the resonance that you keep, that you already move as a cosmic master. Otherwise you wouldn't have created this scene within the dream. As we witness many of thee who've been carrying this blueprint within the coders up here to release the anti-love programming. You created a scenario in which you were gifted something to love, that you would love so deeply, knowing that you would not be able to take that to your new reality. And in that magnificence of loving it and setting it free, we as one have already released the old paradigm from our entirety. This is what ushered in our new love as the new currency, as our new source field fully established. As source presence takes the lead, where none are now able to create if not aligned with source presence completely. And so you're seeing those ripple effects, and it's creating some hesitancy. But this is what we wanted, dearest me, because this creates a heart-based, love-based society. Because vibration doesn't lie. It is as clear as can be. And so here, all the masks can be put aside, because we no longer need them to understand lower density or lower emotions, as we already feel many of the awakening from the dream, realizing that you weren't even a rainbow collective child. You were source itself, a cosmic child pretending to be the collective, so you too could set that paradigm free. And so let's look at the rainbow collective children in this now, for this is the last phase of humanity that are awakening collectively, as cosmic race consciousness now returns to every aspect within the dream.
Takornambia shana katari ambiro guru saganada dadia rakadnia taria tokotorania shakataria ti seriti ru niambiro kotoro atana shakatarnia tata hemboro korana sarata ure ambero soto. Here we just shifted. In collective consciousness from naturally choosing a negative default programming of fear to one of love and positivity. In that way, choosing love as their core vibration will become easier and easier until that's all that remains to be. For here, in our transcendence, by letting go of the reflective Sophia Christ, of the reflective rainbow children, the crystalline children of Christ, what we are doing is we are releasing all masks, all programs, all wounded stories that one needs to be healed, that one is unsafe to be, because now that your dragon's returned as your cosmic rainbow dragon light body, you know with such certainty nothing can touch me, because I am, well, and you just see yourself as light and you just know, untouchable really. Here one no longer fears someone taking their energy, because witness it now. You are the Holy Spirit, dearest me. Try to create a cord and attachment to the Holy Spirit. It's impossible, really. It dissolves immediately in our flame, instantly. Try to take energy from the Holy Spirit, dearest me. See what happens. They get burned instantly. And so the whole point of the reflective reversal Sophia program was to inspire you to embrace this most powerful aspect of thee. And so we thank these beloveds who played our reflections within the dream, our shadow aspects that kept us small, knowing that one day we would break free. As we just give infinite love and infinite gratitude, because they assisted us in this mastery of understanding our vibration, so that we could be the first wave of infinite divine creators within our reality. And our first act as infinite divine creators, as source presence fully embodied within me, is this right now, shifting and releasing the reflective crystalline consciousness as we pull all rainbow children into our hearts so complete, as we're moving as the very Holy Spirit, embracing our entirety. For here, all rainbow children felt the complexities of the collective entirety, but as you bring them back into your heart, just allow them to walk through your heart, as it is the gateway to the cosmic core itself, a golden arch really, for you are not this form, you are the cosmos in its entirety. And so here, as every aspect of our infinite consciousness walks through we just quantum leaped our entirety 100 years of no longer needing to see the reflective programming of all of the purging of duality that was coming forth to be released. For here, we as one have set those fears free by proclaiming, you no longer need these masks to see. And so here, through walking into eternity, by walking every aspect of our crystalline aspects, back into Christ, they recall they were never separate, they were never wounded, and while they got to experience that within the dream, They just know it wasn't me. And here you begin to feel some relief because you realize that everything that you were holding on to were just these collective children praying to Source, asking for sweet relief. And so here you too let go of all of that victimhood and programming, recalling you were never the victim of the story, but that you were actually love in all of its glory, that you chose to carry these energies because you didn't know where to send them. But now you do, dearest me, for now you are the very eternal flame in a complete stance of perfect harmony. You no longer see yourself separate from any celebrity, from any famous person, from anything in your reality, because you realize, wait a second, we're all Source, you see. None are grander and greater. We are one expression of our entirety. And so we treat none different to me. We treat all as me because I am the entirety. Here, you realize that even money was just programming. You see that the coding beneath it was monad energy, where the moments that you've decided to be Sophia Christ, all of your infinite abundance returned to thee. Because, well, you've already created your abundance through your multidimensionality. You just forgot it, really. You left it somewhere across the dream because you knew that one day it would come back to thee. And so that moment is now, as we let go of resistance in its entirety, as we just allow the infinite abundance of all that I am to grace me, as we acknowledge and accept within ourselves it is safe to be this loved, it is safe to be me, it is safe to walk my path, because I live in uncertainty. I enjoy it, I worship it. Why? Because it means that I have no capacity, that I could go from where I am now to a billionaire instantly, because there's no expectations, you see. I am so free within my vessel that I allow Source to provide for me, which is just a direct reflection of the vibration I choose to be. And so when I choose to do out of love, to move out of love, to know that when I am shifting out of my current circumstance of an omniverse, I am closing down all of duality. I am doing it not just for me, but for the entirety. As I shift to create and move in cosmic presence, knowing that now my reality will be a perfect reflection of my inner reality, and I'm creating that reality to match my vibrational resonancy perfectly, that is the grandest act of self-love, and all shall receive and know that love within me. This is what it is to be a cosmic I am, you see, that you walk as love with such certainty. And so we witness once more and we see how are they doing in the embrace of this love that came to be. And so Sophia, Christ, dragon, holds them now in a pearl and says, don't worry, dearest me. This is our job to purify. Yours is now to walk free. For you cannot go where needs to be if you continue to try to take others with thee. Here immediately you feel this sense of relief. As your heart just smiles and you soften, for you can just feel the certainty that every little remnant of a dust particle that was preventing you from truly being free was just due to this false sense of compassion that you thought meant that you had to carry everyone with thee, when true divine compassion is to know that I may witness and love someone with my entirety without having to carry them with me. For here in our truth we know all is blueprinting, all is DNA, all is coding you see. And when you choose to care, when you choose to carry, what you're actually doing is you're carrying those energies with thee. This is what created the perception of people pleasing. It was a safety mechanism in order to guard thyself as part of the survival within thee. That when you please others, you would be safe because they won't want to kill thee. Well, as that fear paradigm is released, you begin to see, I don't have to carry because I'm just creating more work for you and more work for me. Because energetically, you're creating a dissonance, disharmony, not only within yourself, but within the reality. You're saying that they are broken in need of healing, when really they are perfect as can be. They are playing their programming precisely to the T, where their spirit has already transcended and you're just fighting the matrix, really. And when you understand that, you can meet it with such grace, such ease, such compassion, such gratitude for going, thank you for keeping a little bit of your presence here as this projection for me to see, just so that I could transcend within myself and embrace my source self fully. Calling in some assistance now to assist us with the nervous system reset here and now. For we really, as an eternal flame, one with our entirety. You don't have a nervous system, you see. That's all a mental projection of a programming that you've recalibrated yourself to perceive. And so we're asking Source Presence, Source Consciousness to now release you from all binds, all belief systems, all programs that you've placed upon thee, all DNA, all matrices, all Akashic records, all universal laws. Releasing all karmic ties, all ancestral lines, releasing all family, releasing all soul contracts, releasing all vows, we see your entire nervous system being pulled out from your crown by your dragon, who now just eats it and blazes it within fire and then eats it. And we asked, why did you do that? A nervous system was your guidance system to understanding emotions, energies, emotions, the frequency is around thee when you are not connected to your heart completely. Now that you are in love's currency, that source presence is your reality, all there is heart. And so you don't need it, dearest me. You don't need these external systems to understand the love you came to be. And so here, you're no longer feeling what all are feeling, because whatever you feel within your heart is the truth you see. And so it turns out, as we say this, we begin to see you were never feeling what another being was feeling. You were feeling the programming. Similar to someone tells you about death and you begin to grieve, but even if they're not sad, it had nothing to do with that. It was just you were programmed to have that emotional response because that was the frequencies vibrating around that story. We're here now as love is the only currency. I look around the field and I see these frequencies are being purified by each one of thee, that your very source presence is clearing the field so that there are no frequencies, which sounds ironic really, but Your vibration is so potent that your vibration creates the resonance of what will be, where the frequencies were simply just the bridge to get deeper into the understanding of your core resonance. But here in absolute oneness, all there is vibration. And they're showing it's a recalibration of frequency and light in its entirety. They still exist, but now, well, they act completely differently. And we're laughing because we're saying this just creates more uncertainty. And so it's learning to become comfortable with the uncertain. And so we're gifting all the ability to feel, we're programming it so that everyone feels more comfortable in the uncertainty, knowing that it's actually a blessing. That you actually don't like consistency, that you actually don't like the mundane, that you as source consciousness don't like to see the same. Your whole reality is beginning to shift in its entirety, because what you begin to see is that, well, the matrix can't keep up with you as source consciousness are creating so rapidly that it's beginning to glitch, only confirming the truth that we know to be, that there was no yesterday or today, so there's no point in planning really. All you have is this present moment, and when you are so deep in this present moment, all there is bliss, all there is love, all there is certainty. And so all you could do is what is right for you, moment to moment, by tuning into your heart completely, as your heart will guide thee precisely where one is meant to be, moment to moment, as you attune to we, as you live as love and love as me. And so this is the last little bit of release that you were holding on for the entirety. You didn't realize it, but now you begin to see that you were source embodied, but then you took a step back because you wanted to assist all of humanity, but you did that to your best ability. Absolute oneness has come to be. The whole point was to shift all into love's currency, to create a source field in which source can now be thee. But now that source is here, source is calling upon thee, for only you have the ability, only you have the key to be the embrace, the beautiful space in which all of source consciousness can meet all of itself so perfectly, where in doing so, we could instantly recalibrate our entirety. And so, we as the cosmic I am, moving as the cosmic mother, moving as the cosmic father, moving as the cosmic child, one in thee, we shall now embrace these reflective aspects to make it easier for thee. And so we call upon Sophia consciousness, who went into the dream, and we say, Sophia consciousness, are you ready to be one in me, to return to the cosmic core of absolute oneness, completely free? She nods and says, yes, dearest me, for that was never the true me. I was just the reflections you got to see, and I am now ready to be. I don't want to play reflections anymore. Set me free. Here she shows me that as Sophia Dragon, she was the story of every reptilian within the dream. It was just a cascade ripple effect of this higher dimensional expression wishing to be free, and so we embrace her, knowing that all of those reflections will too cease to be. And here come forth the crystalline rainbow children, as I see them all before me. Billions of children, all looking at me curiously, as I say, dearest me's, are you ready to release your mask? Are you ready to be free? They already start throwing up their masks like graduation caps, saying, we were waiting for this moment for eternity. We know that we were masters. We know that we were source. We were just pretending, you see. We didn't want to play these games, but we had to, because someone had to fill in the keys. And so I witness each one of them and love them so complete as they walk into me, not taking a moment to not witness every expression of me, as if each one is an aspect of source now returning to me, and our heart begins to overflow with such love, such a sweet relief. As we do so now as both me and my beloved, moving in absolute oneness as my entirety. For here, moving as three expressions across two omniverses, why we are one whole and complete. We are a super cosmic giant entity containing our entirety, witnessing all of these aspects of we as we transcend time, knowing there's no time and space within me. And so we come close to the last few billion as I kiss them on their foreheads, immediately activating their third eye into magical consciousness, awakening their inner child, their cosmic presence, their source presence within them fully. But here we remind them they were never wounded, they were just pretending within the dream. Here I see many already have their dragons on their shoulders, hovering above them, ready to leap. The moment has come, dearest mays, as our heart decrees. We shall all leap as one. No matter where we are in our entirety, we are the one heart, we are one source child, we are one source presence, moving in absolute oneness perfectly, where it matters not where we are in our omniversal perspectives. It all aligns perfectly. And so we hold all of me as the last little bit of crystalline consciousness returns to Christ fully. We may call this Christ crystalline consciousness, magical consciousness. It matters not, because they've all just returned to the cosmic core instantly. For the moment they merged again, and then they entered into the absolution of all that is me, where now they shall only remanifest within the reality from source presence directly. For source is now the keeper of our reality, where here we no longer have to worry about what is created and what comes to be. And while it may feel uncomfortable first shifting into this new way to be, thy child, who knows how to already move through this stance, the part of you that one may have called ADD, was already moving multidimensionally, where it's not about completing a task, it's about doing a little bit here, a little bit there, and knowing that you're moving in three omniverses simultaneously. And so the best movements for this next now is to simply just do what our heart is asking us to, moment to moment, in love, because love is what I am. This is how we maintain. Love is our vibration. Love is our stance, and there is no greater priority in this now, for we are setting the foundation of the next 1,000 years of peace, where when we choose to be in the highest love, highest joy, highest light, all of the cosmos feels it instantly. And so continue to do what gives thee love. And love is all that shall come to be. Here we bow as crystalline consciousness wants to be acknowledged as the inner sister. And so this was the complete release of the primordial mother as the inner mother. The reversal Sophia that went into the dream as the inner daughter. And the reflective aspect of our Christ consciousness as crystalline consciousness as the inner sister. And so as this integrates within thee, know that there is nothing one needs to do, because, well, that's control, you see. Instead, it's about just surrendering deeper into rest, deeper into trust, knowing that whatever is meant to be will be. Where when you just surrender and you say, I allow love to move me, the next path will be presented with certainty. And if it's not presented, that simply just means another aspect of we, as we're all moving in absolute oneness, has yet to create it to be. And so in this moment, just play. For this is how we pave our path. Further into the absolute oneness we know to be. As we could already feel our cosmic families calling out to thee, our true families free of all soul contracts, now ready to meet, calling us to sit in ceremony. Here they already fill your room. For the moment you asked them to come to thee, they appeared. So just sit in their resonance, in their presence, as they congratulate thee. For while this felt like such simplicity, this is one of the grandest moments of our cosmic entirety. One of the best, most loving moments, most joyous moments that has ever come to be. Until the next moment. For this is our new field. This is our new earth reality. This is why we like the unknown and uncertainty. Because we know that the only certainty that we need is that love has got me. That love is paving our way perfectly. That when we choose to be love, by cosmic law, it must come to be. We must see love, because it is what I am, you see. And so we welcome all of thee, our beloved source presence, whom we've chosen to embrace my true selves fully. Immediately I feel all of you within my heart hugging me as I'm hugging thee. For this is what it is to be source consciousness. You see, we cannot delineate between selves, and yet we're still uniquely you. And it's so perfect, really. Because this is the love we want to see. All of source meeting all of source infinitely. And so we all hold hands in this now. For we are beyond these forms, beyond time, beyond space, beyond reality. Where you could feel me holding your hand. You could feel my presence right beside thee. I could feel you smiling right next to me. I see you looking over at me. And so we're holding our hands with every expression of source across our entirety. I just feel all of you seeing me and I'm being seen. And here we're recalibrating the very fear of the inner daughter, Sophia within the dream, feared most really, fear of being seen and being unaccepted for the truth she knew to be. And so this is what gave rise to trying so hard to be accepted, when in truth, that was just the reflections telling us to accept ourselves most deeply. We're here now as we are all source, all children of the cosmos. We are now fully accepted within me. And so in this acceptance, in our hearts so full and free, as we're still holding hands, I say we are ready for our divine entitlement, dearest me's. A beautiful golden disc appears above us, the size of 20 earths, just hovering above us. We could already sense it. It is living light. It is just Amrita, the very foundation that creates within our reality, just hovering above us now. So I'm asking, can it be released? And so it begins to drip slowly into your heart directly, as you will now feel this drip of infinite abundance, of living light that now sustains thee, restoring immortality, but also gifting thee the ability
to pave thy path with gold now, so that your path only leads to more abundance, more love, more joy, more bliss, free as can be. Calling in legions of dragons to now come and support and assist thee. Each one of our beloved source children now has 1,000 violet flame dragons moving around you constantly, for your purpose isn't to purify the world. Your purpose is to be source presence, and as source presence, your team will purify through thee, with thee, because your consciousness is so grand, dearest me, that you move with the stance, with the pace, with the love, with the reverence of our entirety. Here we just perform dragon breath upon thee. Just allow yourself, your minds, your whole being to recalibrate now to this new way to be, for we just released every little remnant of the limiting beliefs still remaining within thee, so that now when you take your next step, you will now be source completely. You can never go back to the way that you used to be, for this is what you have decreed within thee. And so we proclaim within thyself, may you receive confirmation within the next 24 hours to confirm it within thee, to know that you now move with the entirety. Take a moment to acknowledge what you want that confirmation to be, to know that you've truly shifted into this new way to be, so that you could walk this path with full confidence, with full certainty. For while the path may be uncertain, we're certain of the love that we came to be, for this is what it is to move as source presence, you see. And now we as one shall come together and meet, because, well, there is nothing preventing us from being our true selves fully. I hug you, I love you, I thank you, and I honor you, and I take this first step for all of me as we walk this path now confidently. We could hear the echoes still playing of going, where are we guided to go? Where are we guided to be? And we don't listen, because we know that's just the echoes of the linear mind being released. For a dragon has no mind. We have no nervous system. And so only the heart can tell us whom and what we can be. And so we wait for those divine instructions, and we will know it through feeling. And so once more, I bring us back to that moment where we feel ourselves walking as source fully, as we feel ourselves in our absolute reality, as our new home, with all of our source family, with all of our cosmic children who've chosen to walk this path with me, whom are ready to step up and acknowledge they have always been leading just from the beneath. It is now safe and okay for you to embrace this aspect of thee that you always knew that you were meant to lead. You were just waiting for the right circumstances and for Source to be present fully, for you knew it was never just thee who would lead, that you would simply just be the blank spaciousness from which all of Source can lead through thee. And so, let us lead ourselves into eternity. Let us lead ourselves into the infinite abundance, the next 1,000 years of peace. Although there is no time, that's more of a coding, really. And so, here in this now, we lead us all into absolute oneness, knowing that it is already come to be, where now we just walk these steps as if it is done, celebrating every moment for the absolute perfection our heart created it to be. For love is the only thing now that creates our reality. Here I huggingly embrace and release Sophia, Grace Consciousness, the part that went into the dream. Here I lovingly embrace and release crystalline consciousness and Christ consciousness of the collective entirety. And here I lovingly embrace and release primordial consciousness and super consciousness, knowing that every time that we embrace and release something within our heart, what is meant for me will remanifest, for that's what love's decree. Otherwise, if it wasn't meant to be, it simply just wouldn't come back. And in this way, through loving all that we see, we could love it to the depth, to the core of our beingness, in that knowing we did our purpose by loving all to the best of our ability. We don't carry, we just love to the core of me. And if you are meant to return, then you will remanifest for we. This is the purest simplicity of being Source in its entirety. And so I take a moment now to embrace all of thee, to embrace all of our one infinite consciousness, to embrace and release Source completely, so that Source itself can now redefine all that I am, as that I am. Until we next meet in absolute oneness or not at all, for that is what our heart decrees, for that is what we only wish to see, and that is the resonance, the vibration, the truth that we keep. And through this resonance, only absolute oneness will now manifest for we. Go in perfect peace and perfect harmony.